Welcome everybody to another fun, exciting, upbeat episode of HomeKit Insider. You've got me, your host, as always, Andrew O'Hara. Here joining me this week is just me. It is just me this week. I could argue with myself a little bit if that would make things a little bit more lively, but this episode is literally jam-packed. We have a ton of news to touch on. I have several hands-on that we're going to be looking at in the next few episodes. I'm even more excited because we're going to have some extra new guest hosts joining me that I'm way too excited about. So I don't want to reveal anything yet in case anything falls through. I know I've been touting guest hosts for a while, but these things take some time to line up, but it is happening. It is really happening. We're going to have some great stuff coming up. So let's go ahead, get into this thing, starting off with Nanoleaf. Technically, I probably could have included this on last week's episode, but with all the excitement going on with just the episode in general, I neglected them, which is unfair. So we're going to kick things off with them, but Nanoleaf's string lights are available. And I say string lights with a little bit of an asterisk, because I don't really consider these string lights. To me, these are like pendant lights, but they call them string lights. It's not my favorite name, but they're the ones that like hang down. Like you usually see people with filament bulbs that are like hanging over their patio or their porch or their deck, and they look wonderful. That's what these are. But they are Nanoleaf version, which means the bulb themselves had like this cool shape to them that's got like this angular pattern going on, and they are full color spectrum, not just, a warm white like your traditional filament bulbs. I will say too, I have had these for a few weeks now. Really cool. Very, very cool. I will do more of a full review in like a subsequent episode, but right now I can just say they work exactly as they should. Few of the specs here, these are Matter-enabled lights. So Matter-enabled, which means they work with Apple Home/HomeKit. They have 3 different size lengths, so a 15, 30, or 45 meter version that you can choose between. They are 20 bulbs on that base size, IP65 water resistant, 16 plus million colors, tunable whites. There's animated scenes. They do connect over Wi-Fi, which is Matter over Wi-Fi here, so not Thread. Personally, for deck and everything like that, Wi-Fi works just fine. I've got mine outside. They've been through rain and snow so far without issue, which is, always great. But these are pretty darn cool. I really like the tunable lights and the brightness setting. So right now on my patio, we had a set of standard filament bulbs, and I had them strung up above. I made these planters with these posts. Everything looked great. The problem was they were like too bright. Faith kept telling me to turn them off when we were outside because they were simply too bright. And this, I think, could help that, because I can actually dim them so we can have some lights, change the colors. They don't have to be as bright as they otherwise would be, or you can make them bright if you want them to be. So I love all of that stuff, and of course easy support over HomeKit. As far as pricing goes, let's see here. I'm looking at their website now and trying to actually find where the pricing is hiding on this page. Okay, so $129.99 for your smarter kit, 15 meter, 30 meter version. So double the length goes up to $200, $199.99. And your 45 meter version, $277.48. So it goes from $129 to $277 top to bottom. So very cool. These are available now if you are interested. Next up on the list, Home Assistant. So Home Assistant we don't talk about on the show, honestly too often. So I know a lot of you out there use Home Assistant, and a lot of you probably don't use Home Assistant, which is totally cool. But basically, it's kind of like the front end for your smart home. It's trying to separate itself out from big tech. It's supposed to be community run, smart home, front end to control your smart home devices. It was started back, I think, in like 2013 with nothing but like a Hue bulb, some Python code. Boom, there you go. And now they have more matured than what they were back then. So a few things are happening here, a lot of kind of changes, but to keep it high level, Home Assistant is still going to work with Matter. They're going to work with Matter and other home accessories, and they want to be that front end. They want to be that user interface that you use, kind of in place of the Home app or the Apple Home app. They are starting a new, basically non-profit foundation that will run the standard, and then they are spinning off the for-profit part. So there is a for-profit arm that will sell like Home Assistant hardware, and they will sell cloud storage, and that will be its own thing that's going to be out there, and they'll kind of work together, and there's a lot of fallbacks in place for things, so it's very interesting. But the important thing is here, they're kind of grown up from where they were. They're looking to work with Matter and be that new front end for a lot of people. They claim this is not for people, it can be complicated, so they want to be the higher end solution for folks. You start off with something basic, you grow your smart home, and you're looking for more control than what maybe Apple Home is offering, what Amazon is offering, Google Home is offering, smart things, and you want to do a little bit more. That's where Home Assistant is going to come into play. So it's still really interesting, something to keep on your radar. For the advanced user out there, this is going to be a big deal. So I'll put a link to kind of their announcements in the show notes. If you are into Home Assistant, you use it, this is important stuff to know. If you're looking at it, also important to know. So go ahead and check it out. Next up, here in the news, SmartMi has a new air purifier. This is the SmartMi Air Purifier E1. This is very cool in terms of air purifiers. There's been a lot of them, and Faith was going to hop on today, but she wasn't able to. But we have a ton in our home. We have tested basically all of the HomeKit enabled ones, and this is the newest one, and it has a very unique design compared to the rest. So it looks like a flat rectangle. Unlike all of the other ones that are kind of towers that'll either pull air from like the bottom and out the top or vice versa, it's like flat, and it almost can like go up against a wall, but it's also wall mountable. You can literally mount it onto your wall, and if you were gutsy enough to put a hole in your wall, you could run the power cable down and keep it completely hidden, which is super neat. I love the idea of that. They also are going in a unique way by having customizable fronts. So the front of it, the mesh part of it, is typically what we call like the pre-filter. They call it the main filter, but this is going to filter out your larger particles. It's the one that you can attack with your vacuum to keep things clean. So that's going to be right on the front of this. And that is the part that they offer different designs on. So your basic one is going to be a heathered gray, pretty neutral, fit most homes, but there's other ones with like poppy art patterns, another one with a stylistic rendition of a kitten on there. That's cool. So you could pick up different pre-filters or main filters to put on the front of this thing to customize the look of. I think that's a really neat idea. I like that a lot. So they're doing some cool stuff here. Between wall mountable, it's got the activated carbon on the inside, all your standard stuff. This is HomeKit enabled, just like the other SmartMi stuff that is out there. One thing I'm not sure of that I'm going to try to vamp here for just a moment while I look up to be certain, because of how a lot of the other stuff connects. I wasn't sure how this is connecting here off the top of my head, if it is over Wi-Fi or if it's Thread, and just even a quick breakdown here is not seeing anything on their website exactly how this is connecting to your network. I'm not seeing Wi-Fi or Thread mentioned on the product page. So let me double check here with the PR that was sent out this week, because that I think is going to be pretty important in terms of like how this actually connects. And I'm hoping that it's going to be Thread, but Wi-Fi is also good. I just don't want it to be Bluetooth if possible. Yeah, nothing here either, and how this is connecting. It just says it works with HomeKit, with Google Home, with Amazon Assistant, all of those things, and it doesn't really say. So very interesting. I'm going to have to get one, and I'll let you guys know how it works and how this actually connects. So I will follow up with that. As far as pricing goes, you're looking at $161 in US currency for this thing. So it is out now if you're looking for an air purifier. It's got a really sleek metal base, which I think looks great. If you are going to have it just on your counter, it's about like 1.5 feet tall is what it looks like based on the pictures. So pretty cool. I like this. We also have another air purifier for this episode, because of course we do. And this one is going to be also a little unique. This is from WeLov, WeLov. And they are the very first that I know of, Matter-enabled air purifier. So, purifier works with Matter out of the box, not through HomeKit. I mean, obviously, Matter works through HomeKit, but this one's the first one that's certified with Matter. They also have this other really cool feature that I kind of need to see to understand. Because I'll read you the blurb, and maybe you guys will understand it like instinctually. But they call it an innovative sleep mode, right? So they say the WeLov Bedroom Air Purifier's innovative sleep mode syncs with the Apple Health app to adjust fan levels according to your sleep patterns. Operating as quietly as falling leaves at 23 decibels, it creates a serene environment. Plus, the adjustable warm night light sets a soothing ambiance for work, relaxation, or a restful night's sleep. So, out of the gate, it could sound like it is reading the health app in real time and adjusting it based on your sleep somehow. But I can't see this doing anything more than like, I'm going to bed, be quiet. Like that's kind of all I need. I don't need it to adjust in real time, and I'm not sure if it's looking at maybe your bedtime schedule, which is in the health app, and then automatically applying it based on that. Like maybe you put yourself into sleep mode, sleep focus, and then it would turn off for you. But you could just as easily do this with just like a scene. Whether it's like you say goodnight to your house and it does things, or you set up an automation based on changing your focus mode to put the purifier to a lower level. I'm not quite sure, but I've never seen a purifier specifically say they sync or integrate with the health app. So apologies, but I need to look into this a little bit more. I think that's really, really interesting, and I kind of want to know more about it. Otherwise, design-wise, it's okay. It doesn't look like anything crazy. It's just a large, dark gray box. It says WeLov on the front. There's like a green light going on. There's a glow light around the bottom. That's when they say like that warm night light for that relaxing environment. It sits at the base of the unit, and then there's a control panel on the top. Nothing crazy here in terms of design. Price-wise, you're looking at $137, 98 cents. So 140 roughly. It's a little cheaper than the HomeKit enabled one, but Matter certifications generally cheaper than HomeKit certifications. And I don't know. Personally, between the two, I would lean toward the E1 that we just talked about because I love how thin it is. I like that it sits up against a wall and is more artsy versus this that just looks very utilitarian in the design. But I got to learn more about that whole sleep integration there. Now, as I teased at the beginning, we have some hands-on to look at a few devices that I've got right off of the screen here. Before we get to them, let's take our first break of the episode. I think our sponsor, our first one up, is Shopify. So no matter what stage your business is in, check out Shopify. Shopify is a wonderful platform that is beneficial to everybody, the business, your developers, as well as your customers. Customers love checking out with Shopify because it is so easy to do. You can easily breeze through that checkout process no matter which website that they are coming to, so they don't have to worry about saving information. It's just very simple for them to do and can increase that checkout success rate, which is exactly what you want to see as a merchant. Beyond that, for customers, it does things like offer Apple Pay and Google Pay, PayPal Pay, integrations, all these different platforms to pay, which is, you want that. You want it to be really easy for them to be able to pay on your website without you having to basically do anything. Then everything can kick over to the Shop app. They can see that they placed an order. They can track it from the time they put it in to the time that it's being fulfilled, tracking it to their house, and they can even leave a review afterward. It's all absolutely wonderful. On the development side, it is so easy to implement Shopify. It's just a breeze compared to some of the other platforms that are out there. They can get really complicated, whether you were selling digital goods, whether you were selling physical goods, whether you were selling food, whatever it is that you need to sell, you can do it with Shopify. And they even say this, they have this special Shopify Magic, which is an AI-powered all-star to help things better. And they say they turn browsers into buyers from the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better compared to other leading commerce platforms. I love all this stuff. It just sounds amazing. They power 10% of all e-commerce in the US. They're behind Allbirds. They're behind Nomad. They've done a ton of different websites that all use Shopify. So sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/HomeKit. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/HomeKit now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/HomeKit. And then I do a ching sound that you guys are all just going to hear. So thank you, Shopify, for sponsoring this episode. Now, I think the first one that I want to check out here, because it's on my desk, we're looking at Qi2, right? Qi2 again, Mophie here, the 3-in-1 that we touted. I have it. I'm holding up the box. If you're watching me on video this week, I do have a few things. I'm sorry, the box looks greasy, folks. Like if you're watching, it shouldn't look so greasy. It has like this matte finish on the outside, and my child touched it. He touched it with his little child fingers, and now it looks kind of greasy. But we don't need to see the box. We just need to see the product itself. So Mophie does include the power cable, like a USB-C cable, and they include the power brick, so all of that is taken care of. This is the charger itself. For those watching on video, mine is the white version. It is sleek. I think it looks really, really nice. So very minimalistic setup here, all vertical. So you have your front little pad where your AirPods are going to fit. These can just set down there. Like there's your AirPods, boom, just like that. And then on the back, you got your spot for your Apple Watch. So you have your phone in the front, AirPods below, Apple Watch behind it. The puck for your iPhone rotates so it can pivot back and pivot forward, so you can adjust that as you need to. And of course, just makes everything easy. So put your phone on there. You can tilt it back, so if you're like standing, if you're standing desk, this would be really good for that vertical orientation. It does not go completely flat though, like I believe it's like the Belkin one. That's MagSafe. It can go completely flat, which I think is kind of cool because you can set Qi devices on it. This goes almost flat. There's still like 30 degrees left to go before it's completely flat. Or you can go perfectly perpendicular, perfectly straight on. But it looks like a very nice charger. It feels very well made. It's got a lot of heft to it. The base is nicely weighted. The cable is tucked in underneath. It's got like a recessed USB-C port, so it's like inside of the charger itself. So the cable isn't, like the covering part isn't protruding out the back. I am very happy with the design of this thing. Full Qi2 certified. Seems like it's a lot of metal is used here alongside the plastic. Apple Watch charger is a fast charging puck. That's always going to be important. So love to see that here. It's a Qi2 3-in-1 charger. I like it. There's no complaints here. There is a little light in front. I plugged it in. It's not that bright. It's fairly dim, but you don't have control over it. So if you're going to be bothered by a light, maybe not for bedside, but it's pretty dim. Get some white out. You probably almost cover it completely up. But yeah, 3-in-1 charger from Mophie. These are available now shipping. I think I mentioned that in the last episode. So there's like one more left of the whole lot. By the way, since we're talking about Qi2, I thought it was kind of interesting. I was talking to somebody on Twitter, and they were looking for a Qi2 or a MagSafe powered battery pack, right? And there's very few options out there. In terms of MagSafe, I think Mophie has one, and then Alogic has one. Alogic. Both of them have MagSafe certified ones. Now, those ones are certified from Apple. They're buying their components from Apple. But what I don't think some people were aware of, there's no OS level integrations here. So Apple's battery pack, I have Apple's sitting right here on my desk. Apple's is very nice, and it would go on the back of your phone, and it would show up on your lock screen in terms of how much battery capacity your battery pack had. And it would even show, like right there, it's showing on my phone right now, how much it's charging. It would also show in the battery widget, which was super helpful. I loved these things. MagSafe certified ones do not do this. The only one that could integrate on a system level was Apple's. And they no longer sell it because it was lightning. So it's a bit of a bummer, and I kind of wish they'd have introduced a new version that brought USB-C so that we could keep that OS level integration, because I really liked it. And apparently, based on these responses on Twitter, other people are looking for this too. And they were surprised that these didn't offer that. So not only does that go for the Qi2 ones, it goes for the MagSafe level, or the MagSafe, it also goes for the Qi2 ones. Neither of them will integrate on the system level and the OS level like Apple's own did, which is it's unfortunate. Whether Apple could adopt that in the future, I don't know. I don't know if there's that communication there. Like, I don't know if other battery packs are able to tell the iPhone their capacity and then Apple could display it, or if that information is only shared because Apple created the battery and created that kind of handoff in terms of information. I don't know. So it's something to keep an eye on, and if that ever does change, I'll let you guys know. But to make sure that was kind of cleared up for anyone who was not aware. Getting back to Qi2, this is just kind of news, and it goes along with the Mophie one we talked about, but Casetify has launched their new power line. They have all sorts of stuff. There's charge trees, there's cables, there's massive 240-watt power bricks, but the one that we care about for this episode is Qi2 stuff, and that's what we're going to stick with. So they do have a new Qi2 wireless car charger. Now this guy is $78, which is absolutely on the high end of things. We've talked about other ones. This is the Mophie one sitting right here on my desk. We've talked about them from ESR. There's a few that are out there, but $78 for this. But what's unique is, so the Mophie one is just a circle, just a round circle the size of the MagSafe puck. The Casetify one goes larger, and it actually kind of encompasses the full MagSafe spot, including the alignment magnet on the bottom. So just a little bit more coverage, and I have to assume because of that, maybe a bit stronger of a magnetic grip. This is an assumption, I don't know, but it has just a larger surface, and even just having larger pad, like a silicone pad, that's going to help for downward pull. So not only do you have like your pull going out, but you're also like going down. And if there's more silicone here, this is going to help if you're hitting like a bump and your phone's going to be pulled downward. I'd have to think that that would help. So that is one difference with the Casetify one, even though it's a little bit more expensive. And of course, like other Casetify cases, it says like Casetify around the edge. They do have like the clip that goes behind the vent blades, which is very nice. I appreciate that. And the final thing that makes Casetify unique, like with almost all of their products, it's customizable. So the center portion, the actual like pad surface, that can be customized with different prints. So you can put a picture there, a logo there, a character there, all these different things that you can pick and choose. So kind of cool. I like these. $78 is what you're looking at for the Casetify Qi2 Car Charger. Last thing to talk about, Govee and some new floor lamps, and I've got them here with me. But before we talk about them, one more sponsor to thank for this episode, ExpressVPN. We have 3 dogs. We take them with us basically everywhere, but do we take them outside off of our leash? No. Most of the time they're going to be fine and they're going to stick right by us. But what happens if they see a bunny and they just take off and they are gone, or they get dog napped? They get dog napped and they are held for ransom, and then you have to mortgage your house because you got to save your dog, and all these things pile up. And why take that risk? Why take that risk? Well, it's the same thing like surfing online without a VPN. Most of the time, you're probably going to be safe. There's probably little risk in the things that you know around your house, but there are going to be times where it is not safe, and you do not want to be in those situations and end up getting stuff on your machine, getting ransomware, and people trying to check what you're browsing and glancing at your card information or your passwords that you're entering, let alone if you're on that dreaded public Wi-Fi, you are traveling, you are in an airport, anything like that on that public Wi-Fi, and somebody can be snooping and seeing what you're doing, and you want to be protected. So that is why I always use a VPN on my phone. Absolutely every time that I'm out and about, VPN is on every single time. And ExpressVPN is one of the best of them. It is available on all of your platforms, basically everything that you can think of, your Mac, your PC, your iPhones, your iPads. They even have an app for the Apple TV, which I think is especially cool. So So ExpressVPN creates a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so that no one can see what you're doing. They are protecting your data when you are browsing online. Cafes, hotels, airports, anywhere, your data is going to be secured when you are using a VPN. So ExpressVPN works on all devices, phones, laptops, tablets, smart TVs. Just fire up the app, click one button, and you are protected. So here's what you guys can do to protect yourself. Get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN free at expressvpn.com/HKI. That's expressvpn.com/HKI. expressvpn.com/HKI. Thank you so much to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this episode. So, Govee has 2 new products, and I have opinions, folks. I got opinions, so I hope you guys are ready for them. Now, I only brought the one box here because I already have the one assembled and it's not small, so I wasn't going to try to bring it into the studio and hold it up for you guys on camera. But let me give you the lowdown here of what's important. So there are 2 different lamps. There is the the Floor Lamp 2. This is going to be their mid-tier. It's replacing the Lyra model that was already out there. So the Govee Floor Lamp 2. The second one is the Govee Floor Lamp Pro, which is their high-end smart product. I will tell you right now, love the middle ground solution. Love the Floor Lamp 2. The Floor Lamp Pro, a little bit of a miss for me. Little bit of a miss. So let's get into why. So Floor Lamp 2, that's what I have in my box that I've got for you guys to see. If you're watching on video, you can see what this looks like. It is a floor lamp. Now, this has signature RGB IC color control. It is brighter. They have more light beads in here, improved design, broader coverage. What we care about here, folks, Matter support. Govee has not supported HomeKit natively, never has, but they have been quick at adopting Matter, which brings HomeKit support. So these can show in the Home app, and I'm excited about that. So that part about this is great. As far as how these guys connect, if you have not seen them before, or putting them together, rather, it's cool. So the bottom is a little black canister, and then it comes with these metal posts that slide into one another. And it's kind of like the back of the light stand, and they go all the way together. You connect with a little screwdriver, and then the light itself is a flexible silicone piece of light strip. And then that just fits into it. So that's how they get it into a box that is as small as you're seeing on camera, because they just have these metal pieces that clip together to make a long post, and then the light just pushes right in there. That's very different than something that is behind me if you're watching the video, which is the Hue light strip, or the light post that's right there. That is very tall, 4.5 feet tall, I don't know. But it's one piece, and it came that way in a very long box. This is much smaller, definitely easier to ship, and it's not too much of a pain to put together. It just took me a few minutes to assemble all of the back pieces, and good to go. So, super interesting how they managed to make this work. I really like that it's Matter controlled, makes it really easy to use. If you're using the Govee app, there's all sorts of different stuff like lighting effects, there's different themes, scheduling, controls, all different things that you can do, like music modes, sync modes, all that stuff through the Govee app, or control it with your voice, different home platform of choice. In this case, HomeKit works great. Let's talk about the Pro. The Pro one, I've got issues with, guys. What they're touting of this, of why it's good. So first, advanced LED arrangement, 324 color and white LED beads, strategically placed for optimum illumination. Perfect. Checks out. Guarantee. I love this. Color on this, fantastic. It looks really, really good in the space. I've used it up in our room right now, and I love it. Color-wise, brightness-wise, color reproduction, amount of illumination, all A+. Hands down, no problems with that. Good. We're good so far, Govee. After that, saying bright, consistent lighting, absolutely. Up to 2100 lumens, cool. Wide color temperature range, perfect. The next stuff, though, is where it also has 300-degree rotation, which is very neat. You can move it around, so I do like that. They say it has an innovative base, though. This is where I have problems. The base has a built-in... Well, there's two things that builds into the base. First is light, and then the second is a speaker. I hate products that just toss in Bluetooth speakers trying to make them seem more premium. Like, to me, there's a huge disconnect here. For a lot of users, like you want this to be premium, high-end light, price tag over $200, but a lot of people that target audience would be kind of including probably already have speakers. They already have a Sonos system, HomePods, even Google and Amazon speakers. Just something else. I have very rarely thought, man, I wish this floor lamp had speakers in it. And I know there are going to be people that like this. I looked around and I saw some people on Reddit that seemed to be very excited about having a Bluetooth speaker in the base. I am not that audience. I'm not. There's some neat effects here. Like there's 28 white noise presets. There's lighting presets as well, including like lighting ambiance presets for like yoga, meditation, reading, or listening to a podcast. Like there's some neat stuff they're doing here, but I don't want the speaker. I don't want it. It does sound good, but not that I would be replacing my other speakers. And when you're using these floor lamps, a lot of times they may be in a corner behind a chair or something to bring in that illumination, and it's not an ideal spot for a speaker to be. So maybe it's just me. I hate to be a pessimist about it, but it's not my thing. It does make it cool because then it's really easy to sync your music and your light together because it is the speaker and the light, so it's a great integration between those things. It's just not my thing. My second thing that I have a problem with is it doesn't support Matter. It doesn't support Matter. So their cheaper product supports Matter. High-end product doesn't. You're left with the Govee app. Amazon and Google, I think, are the ones that it supports. HomeKit users, you're out of luck. You can't even buy this nicer product. If this product was $20 cheaper, ditched the Bluetooth speaker and added Matter, I would hands down recommend it. At like $200, it's a great floor lamp. I love that it can move. There's even a remote control. Harrison loves this too. Like he's picking up, that's my 1.5-year-old. He picks up the little controller and he like cycles the lights and everything. Loves it. Very cool. The whole thing rotates. Colors look great. Very wide dispersion. I'm probably going to bring it down here to the... I'm renovating the studio, folks. Like we're going to add some nice background stuff. Maybe get rid of this brick wall a little bit. Let me know what you guys think for backgrounds wise, like what kind of stuff you want to see. But we're going to be adjusting this, so I'm probably going to bring in those as some more background lighting, and I really, really like it. Like, color-wise, all that, fantastic. I just don't understand why they would not include Matter support. Maybe it'll come, firmware update, but it's not on the box, which is important. I just don't get it. I do not understand, and it really rubs me the wrong way. It's like we're going the right way with Govee, and you have a product that has, like, better lightings than the one I have here, the floor lamp 2, but I'm stuck using the cheaper, worse light because it doesn't have Matter in the other one. So that's my little rant. Just a little annoyed by it. I think it's ridiculous that they don't include it there. But, it is what it is. You guys know the information. You guys can make your decisions on what you want to pick up if you're interested in a floor lamp. But I do like both of them for what they are. Just understand those limitations on the floor lamp Pro. I just don't think it's pro enough. I think if you left the speaker in, just at least add Matter. Because then I would still say, okay, buy it. Just forget the speaker in the base. You don't have to worry about it, but I think it matters. Sorry, that wasn't intended to be a pun, but it just came out that way. So that basically wraps it up for this episode. One last thing, if you guys are still listening to this tail end of it, this isn't particularly smart home related, so I wanted to leave it until the end, but I thought it was cool. So we're going to talk about it anyway. Emulators, man. Emulators been crazy on iPhone. And I have sitting here at my desk, like, look at all these game things I've got. Because I've been doing all this extra filming. I've got my analog pocket, which, by the way, one of the coolest gadgets that I have ever picked up. It is a high-end Game Boy replacement, basically. Plays like all the different cartridges in the back. They just go right in there, and then you've got a larger screen. Like, here's a Game Boy Color, my Game Boy Color here. Much larger screen on this, much better looking screen. You can change the display modes to kind of emulate the different consoles if you want. Great feeling buttons. This is awesome. It's from Analog. It's backlit. Like, there's no backlight on Game Boy Color. You had to use those little lights that plug into the port on the side. Rechargeable, USB-C, all these fantastic things. So Analog Pocket has been one of my favorite devices because I also have my Game Boy Color. And then I have my tiny little Playdate, which is also super cool, super cute. This is from Panic, but this is like their retro gaming console they come out with. It has a crank on the side that you can use as a way to interact with different games. It's also lovely. So I've been like really in this retro gaming space, and then all of a sudden Apple allows emulators on the App Store, and we saw there was a little bit of a kerfuffle with some of the initial ones, and I did a whole video. It's on the channel if you guys care, the Apple Insider YouTube channel. But now Delta, which is one of the original emulators that's been around forever to play Nintendo games, all that stuff, is on the App Store, available for free, at least here in the US. Huge deal. I've been loving it. It's so much fun. It works so well. I've done some videos on it, but you can just load up your games. You know, I'm not going to tell you guys to get any ROMs that you guys don't own. I just took them out here. Here's my Game Boy Red. Here's Game Boy Red on Delta. So I own the ROM that I'm playing on here. Say I converted it, but you can play Pokemon now on your iPhone natively, which is bonkers. This is mind-blowing to me. And I've been very excited by it. I don't know how many other people are, but it seems like a lot of people have been downloading Delta, and I'm trying to get this like to even like focus on the camera, but it's not doing it. But yeah, you can play these games. It even works like landscape mode. There's different skins you can download. It's a whole deal. And I'm 100% here for it. So if anyone into this retro gaming stuff like I am, make sure you've downloaded Delta. I'm sure most of you guys probably have heard about it this week, but if you haven't, it's my little PSA on some great nostalgia for your iPhone. So that's it. That's the episode this week. I promise you, we have some exciting things coming up. A couple cool guests that you guys are going to love. Probably like three or so guests, one way or another. I think the next 2 episodes will be some guest hosts if all of our schedules work out together. So stay tuned for those. If you guys have any questions on the smart home stuff, be sure to let me know over on Twitter, Andrew_OSU. Please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. It would be extremely helpful. If you guys want to see the video, had some cool stuff to show off this week, youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. Otherwise, stay tuned. I will catch you guys in the next episode next week. We'll see you guys then.